So people are fleeing the country and leaving their debt behind. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't know the legality behind this. I don't even know if I should be talking about it, but we're gonna talk about it. If you don't want to listen to my commentary, the link to it is down below. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Welcome back to all my revolutionaries. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Let's go.
What would happen if we all just left the US and didn't pay off our debt and just left? Like, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck or paycheck to credit card practically. And if we all just left, what would happen? Like, a hypothetical situation, but I really want you guys to answer in the comments what would happen, because they're not going to send the FBI or the IRS after you. Yeah, you would default on your payments, on your loans or whatever, and you would probably have to file bankruptcy here. But let's say, like, instead of paying off that debt, if you just straight up like chunk the deuce and left, what would happen? Like, they can't press criminal charges against you, right? Especially if you file bankruptcy and then leave. Like, what could they possibly do? And I ask this question because I know there's a lot of us that are protesting and not paying off our student loan debts because we're protesting how fucking ridiculous they are, and we are asking that the administration forgive them. So as far as like this debt, our debt goes, what would happen if we just left to another country?
As far as that, I don't think they can do anything. She said they'd send they're not going to send the FBI after you, which I agree with. They're not going to send the FBI. They're not going to send the CIA. They're not going to send anybody after you. She mentioned filing bankruptcy. I don't think you should do that. Filing bankruptcy actually costs money. And then on top of that, you actually have to like go to court and this and that. And if you actually already filed your bankruptcy, then you're no longer in debt. There's no point in leaving at that point. But yeah, they're not going to chase you, to my knowledge. We're going to see some more videos here, and I haven't really watched these videos. So as far as I see it, hey, it's an escape. It's a cheat code. I think it's cheating the system, but the system cheats you every day. So are you really wrong for cheating the system back? I don't know, but I'm not telling anybody to do this. I'm just giving my honest opinion. This is a very, very interesting concept.
One of the biggest reasons why I'm leaving the US is debt. The average American household carries $155,000 of debt. Currently in the US, American families owe $14.5 trillion in debt. The country second to the US is China with $10 trillion of household debt. But how did we get this way? As someone who has left their 9-to-5 to work independently, I am having to shift my mindset around money. Because before, I was making a paycheck every 2 weeks, and I planned my expenses around receiving the paycheck every 2 weeks. But now I'm changing my spending habits based on how I receive my income. So I'm often asking myself, do I need it? Does it bring me joy? And does this bring value into my life? The mentality in the United States is capitalism and consumption. Now, I'm not saying that people don't have debt in other countries, but I think people in other countries have a different mindset about money. Often their taxes go to things that directly benefit them, and they place experience over things.
So this doesn't look like one of the people that's just trying to flee to escape their debt. She looked like she's trying to cut down on her debt and then leave. But one thing she had completely right is that, yeah, America is consumerist, but it's not completely your fault. They're selling you all the time. You get on TikTok and there's an ad every few seconds. They got the TikTok shop, which is just a Wish app. You're buying stuff just directly from China. And then you're getting it here in the United States of America. And yeah, they convinced you guys that you don't just need a car. You need a brand new car with some spinning rims, heated seats, heated gloves. Why do you need heated seats when you live in Los Angeles? It's hot enough as it is. We use let me tell you something. You don't need heated seats. You don't need all them extra fancy features. A heated steering wheel, I can maybe understand a little bit, but just put some gloves on. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that, yeah, you've been convinced that you need to spend all this money. Companies spend a lot of money on advertising, but they spend even more on psychology, because these psychologists have figured out ways to make you think you need things that you don't need. They don't attach like usefulness to objects. They attach emotions to it. I forget what movie it was. I think it was Wolf of Wall Street, but I may be wrong. And they were talking about, how do you sell a pen to somebody? You don't sell the pen. You sell an idea. They don't sell you guys stuff. They sell you guys a feeling. They sell you an emotion. They make you feel like you're worth more now that you have this item that you really don't need. And that is a very, very, very terrible, very negative thing here in America. So yeah, these corporations are really janky.
And their taxes go to things that directly benefit them, and they place experience over things.
So after much consideration, I have decided that I'm just going to flee the country. So for one, I gotta get my bag ready. I'm only taking a few things. I can't take too much because I don't know if I'm gonna be crossing a border. I don't know if I'm taking a plane yet, because then if I do, they could track me down and see where I went. So I just think I'm gonna just go on a bus or something. But first, I'm gonna pack my bag. This honestly sucks so bad. I'm just taking a few shirts and some pants and stuff. I'm not taking bras or underwears because I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to shower. So I
What is she fleeing the country for? Because she's $27,000 in ebbed debt. But 27,000 actually isn't too crazy of an, you know what? No. You know, that's the problem. I guess I'm part of the problem too. 27,000 in debt is actually very, very high. I think we've just gotten so used to people being 100,000, 200,000, $300,000 in debt that we sometimes forget that $27,000 worth of debt is a lot of freaking debt. If you make 50 grand a year, that means you're more than 50% when it comes to debt to income ratio. But the fact that she's trying to get away, like she's trying to run from the cartel or run from some kind of mob boss, talking about she's fleeing the country. She's not packing any underwear because she don't know if she's going to shower. She doesn't want to fly because, golly, it sounds like she committed a mass murder and now she's trying to get away. That's what debt has done to people. People feel like criminals when they're in debt. They feel like criminals if they don't pay their money back. And I get it. You use someone else's money. You can't pay it back now. So you should feel some kind of guilt for that. But the fact that she thinks she's treating this like she's James Bond 007, now she has to flee the country. She has 2 different passports, a different name. She's going to go to another country, change her name to Juanita, and no one will ever see her again. That's crazy to me. It shouldn't be like that, but that's the way it is. Fun fact, in this country, there used to be something called debtor's prison, and they abolished it because they found it unconstitutional. But it was a crime at a point to be in debt and to not pay the debt back. But the fact that people feel like criminals in your country because they owe money should tell you something about the system. People shouldn't be trying to flee the country. Flee like they're on the run. Crazy work.
just don't know. This is honestly, I was not expecting anything to blow up like this, and it did. And I'm honestly like, I'm at a loss for words. Like, I can't believe people on the internet turned me in. Like, you guys have no life. Like, you guys should just mind your own business and not worry about what other people do with their EBTs. This is all I'm taking with me. All right. Thank you for supporting me. To those who support me and to those who hate me, thank you for following for another video.
Wait, turned her in. So she actually did commit a crime. So I guess this was like welfare fraud. When I saw EBT, I thought she just forgot to put the D in debt. I never even realized that EBT was anyway. So I guess people reported her for not using her EBT properly or for getting more EBT than she needed. Now she owes $27,000 in government funds. Yeah, this is different. This one is an actual crime. If you were like taking money from people who actually need it and you didn't need it, that's bad. But yeah, that's a literal crime. So the fact that she is recording herself saying that she's fleeing the country after committing a literal crime, welfare fraud is a crime. Leaving in debt is one thing, but taking money from those who need it when you don't need it like that, yeah, that's bad. That's really bad. And I don't think you should be posting your crimes on the internet, mama. The fact that your followers reported you means that you were putting out too much business. You shouldn't share that much business about yourself. Because one, how do they know how much money you're getting EBT? 2, how do they know your real name? Where you live at to report you? How do they know all this about you? Now, there are people on the internet who are very good at finding out your information. I ain't gonna lie about that. But this just shows me people know way too much about you. And yeah, this one is actually on the run. My bad. At first I said you shouldn't feel like a criminal if you owe money in debt. I just thought she spelled debt wrong. She literally committed some form of like welfare fraud. Crazy work.
So if you're trying to move abroad and you think debt is going to hold you back, let me help you out. I moved abroad with probably $30,000 to $40,000 of student loan debt. And long story short, because I lived abroad for the past 14 or so years, I was able to pay it all off. I did not get anything forgiven at all, and I have been debt-free now. The reason I was able to do all that is because living abroad is cheaper than living in the US. So I was able to put more money towards my debt, get that off my shoulders, and I was able to pay it off over a decade earlier than I was supposed to. Now, I am going to point out one thing that I think a lot of people don't know, and it's not spoken about enough. Credit scores are only a US thing. One more time. Nobody else fucking cares about credit scores, only the US.
I don't know how true that is, but it is true that the United States is one of the biggest countries when it comes to actually caring about your credit. Some other countries have something called a social credit score, which I think is actually 1,000 times worse. I think it's actually China, where there's cameras everywhere tracking the things you do. If you throw trash on the ground, then your social credit score goes down. And if your social credit score goes down low enough, you can't leave the country, you can't rent bikes, you can't get on public transit, and you have to do certain things like community service or something to get your social credit score back up. And there's even people who walk around who are like tracking you like, oh, you just spit gum on the ground, I'm gonna report you. Like basically government funded snitches. And they will report you, and then your social credit score will go down, and then you can't do a lot of things. You have higher interest rates when you try to like purchase a car. It's hard for you to get an apartment. You probably have to live on the bad side of town. So you can argue whether or not this is a better system, but to get back to this, the fact that she was able to leave the country and then pay down her debt is cool. I thought this whole thing was about people just fleeing the country because they're in debt. Now, maybe it is true. Maybe there are more clips in here that talk about that. But this lady, I understand what she did. She left the country, was able to pay down debt. Some of you guys might want to do the same thing. It's maybe time for you guys to leave the country. People immigrated into this country. This country has exhausted its usefulness. It may be time to just leave.
So in theory, maybe you want to Google something about, credit cards and something about 7 years and credit scores. Go ahead and Google something about them. The whole point of this is I hope you don't let something like this hold you back. I know it's scary and I know it's not easy and I don't know what else you have going on, but I also moved abroad with debt and I paid it all off faster than I would have if I lived in the US.
So she actually did get into it. The whole thing with the 7 years, basically, let's say you leave the country, you don't make any payments, you don't do anything. After 7 years, your credit is going to default. And then eventually it's going to get wiped away. You're going to have no credit score. And then like a few years after that, you're going to have a 0 credit score. So your credit history is just going to be completely gone. So technically she did get into the whole fact of just leaving the country and not paying anything back, which the simple fact that we have to do this in America, the fact that people think that they have to leave the country because they're in debt, I think is crazy. But if that is an option and if that makes sense for you, I'm not telling you to do it. But I would understand if you felt like you needed to do that.
I paid it all off faster than I would have if I lived in the US.
What would happen if I maxed out all my credit cards and then I just moved to China? Like, would the UK just have to hold the L? Is it the banking system? Because if nothing actually happens to me, I don't understand why people just don't.
Funny story, they'll wipe it clean in 6 years. You see, when I was a younger, more youthful me, I accrued about 6 racks in credit card debt, and I did not have the funds to pay it. And when I got offered a job to go work out in Korea, I got on the first flight out this bitch because there was no way I was paying anything. And in my mind, I was like, well, if I get out there and I make some money, I can come back and start making payments. Well, I was out there for about 9 years and I came back, tried to start paying off my debt. Lo and behold, I had no credit card debt. True story.
There you go. That's what I was talking about. When you go out there, after a certain amount of time, this stuff just gets wiped clean. It's gone, poof. And he was able to go out there. He had every intention of paying it back. But when he got back, it was just like, it's gone. So it's a literal cheat code. So if this is even an option, that shows that all this debt is just imaginary. Money as a whole is kind of imaginary anyway. It's a concept. It doesn't actually exist, right? As people, if we were decent individuals, we could just trade goods and services. But the problem is people value certain goods and services more than others. So you have to put some kind of value to it, because saying that let's say I'm a surgeon and I want to perform surgery on you. I don't want 15 bushels of corn. I may want gold. You may not have gold. And then that's why, paper money is a thing, because we can set a very specific value on certain goods and services. But in reality, money is a concept. And the fact that you can just leave the country for a good decade and then it'll all get wiped away sounds like a good proposition to me. being deported with $95,000 in student loan and $200,000 in credit card debt. Thank you, America. Goodness gracious. So, congratulations. You beat the system. I don't know why she got deported, but you beat the system. Now, the $95,000 of student loan debt, that you can never really default on that. That will never get wiped away. But the credit card debt, that'll be gone. And if she never plans on coming back, that's money owed to the U.S. government. Nobody is going to go and try to find her for that. And you don't need American credit scores in other countries. So she beat the system. She gamed them. She played with house money. Did she get her degree? Especially if she got her degree and it transferred over somewhere else. She basically just got a free degree. She beat the system. Congratulations. That's like going into the casino, gambling with the casino's money. Let's say the casino is like, we're going to front you $100,000 and you can gamble, but you just got to pay us back, the $100,000. And let's say you lose all of it and you're just like, nah, I'm gone. And there's no way for them to track you. Or let's say you win and you still don't pay them back and there's no way for them to track you. You gamed the system, you beat them. And somehow, some way she beat them. Getting deported, I don't think she was happy about that. Well, she looks happy. She doesn't look sad at all. So congratulations to you. And I wonder how many Americans are doing it. If you are willing to leave the country to escape your debt, let me know in the comment section below. But hell yeah. Congratulations to you. I ain't mad at you. Go on, baby girl.
If you leave the United States with credit card debt, whether you're deported or you just decide to go home, good luck to the credit card companies trying to get money out of you. They won't be able to. They would need to sue you in the US, get a judgment, then go to your country, try to enforce that judgment to try to collect money from you. They're never going to go through that. So they're just going to write off your debt. But if you ever try to come back to the United States, your credit score has tanked and you'll have a hard time getting new credit or credit cards whenever you do try to return. Maybe you'll be harassed by debt collectors, but just change your cell phone or email or block them. There's nothing debt collectors can do to you. And maybe there's a tiny, tiny chance if you move to the UK or Canada, they actually will go after you if you have a lot of assets or a huge debt, but that's still a small little chance. So if you leave with credit card debt and you're scared about the bank,
Okay, so this provides some information. If you go to the UK or Canada, I guess they work with the American credit system, which makes sense. The United Kingdom Bank is like, we're not going to talk about that. We're not get too deep into the conspiracies, but the UK is the bank of the world, just like America is the military of the world and the Vatican is the religion of the world. But again, we're not going to get into that too much. But the fact that they're not going to go after you, the fact that they have to go through this whole process, let's say you owe $100,000 in debt, to get that, to sue you, get the judgment, fly out to your country, try to find you, put that judgment on you, and then you have to, no, it's not going to happen. They're not going to do it. And I feel like this is going to become a more common thing. If you think that this is going to be more common, let me know, because I feel like if you could do this, well, why not just take out as many loans as you can? Like if you're doing this, you probably can't take out any more loans because your credit is bad. But let's say you have a couple credit cards. Let's say you could take out a loan on your car. You take out as much money as you can. You pawn some things. Tell me you're going to pay them back, yada, yada, yada. You rack up all this money and then you just dip, never to be seen or heard from again. What'll happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen to you. So if it's that simple to escape this debt, why don't they just clear it? Now, I know why they don't, because you made an arrangement. You made a contract. You promised to pay this money back. So they're not just going to wipe it away, because what's going to incentivize you to pay back money next time? I have a question for you guys. If they said right now, they will wipe away all the debt that you owe. You owe nothing. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's student loans, car loans, this, that, whatever. They'll wipe you to zero with the stipulation that you can never use credit again. The only time they will allow you to get any kind of loan or anything of that nature is if you get a mortgage. And when you do that, it will have to be manual underwriting. Would you guys take that proposition? If they said, we'll wipe everything clean, but you'll never use credit in this country again, would you take that proposition? I think most Americans would, because I think a lot of people are realizing that credit is dangerous. It's not something that we should really be engaging in.
doubling, quadrupling ICE officers, who knows how many, and slapping immigrants with huge additional fees. $45 billion this year.
Here's some really bad advice, man. Okay? If you're in like really heavy debt in the United States, just move countries, man. What are they going to do? I don't want you trying to like off yourself or ruin your family trying to pay back a debt that's only going to grow and that you're never going to be able to pay back, man. If you're only making 50 grand a year and you owe 100 grand and it's only going to accumulate with interest, you're going to spend your whole life trying to pay that off, dude. Move to Mexico, move to Thailand, move to Armenia, move to Spain, dude. Don't ruin your life trying to pay back crooked, evil people that don't need your money, man. I'm just saying, dude. And no, that's not what I did. But I found out that is something you can do.
So you pointed out something very important here. Don't ruin yourself, your family, or anything like that trying to pay this debt back. And I'm a firm believer of that. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Prioritize food, shelter, water before you prioritize paying anything back. I don't give a damn. And you guys can quote me on this. Prioritize your health and wellness before you prioritize paying anybody back. And yes, people in high debt are more likely to like themselves because they feel like they're drowning. They feel so underwater. And the crazy thing is, it's just a concept. There's nothing they can do to you. Literally nothing at all. You can't go to jail for it. You can't get stoned to death for it. You can't, nothing will happen to you. But they've got you guys convinced that you are such a terrible human being because you owe money. You're such a terrible human being because you use someone else's money and now you can't pay it back. Now, if that is like a friend of yours, yeah, you're a terrible person. If you take money from a friend or family member and you don't pay that back, they should stone you. But from the government, from these corporations, you're not an evil human being. You should not even be considering yourself because you owe these folks money. Take care of yourself first and pay these debts second. Take care of your rent first. Take care of your car note because you don't want them taking your car. But if it's not your apartment or your car, worry about yourself first. And I said specifically apartment and not your house, because if you are drowning in debt and you own a house, sell that thing. If you have any kind of equity in it and you feel like you're drowning, there's nothing you can do. I think one of the worst things you could do is take out like a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, to try to pay off some of your other debt, because then just now your mortgage has gone up, and with property taxes and all these other random increases, you might end up either right where you are or in a worse position. So if you have any kind of equity in your house and you are literally drowning, this isn't for people who are just in debt. I'm talking about people who they don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Do not off yourself. Do not, put your family in a bad situation to where they can't eat. They don't have clothes. They don't have this. They don't have that because you're trying to pay off this debt. Your family and your health come first.
Unpopular opinion, and here come all the credit restoration people from my head. If you're in debt and you have no savings, there is no short fix for this. But stop paying the debt. Now, if it's a mortgage or student loans and you're planning on staying in this country, all bets are off. You have to pay those. You don't want to fault on a major asset class like a house. Those are valuable, and you can't get rid of student loans. But all the other debt that's preventing you from being able to save, fuck them. So what happens to your credit? Oh, it's gonna go to shit. But does credit matter in other countries? No, it does not. So if you're serious about leaving, who cares? Do keep paying rent though. Don't get evicted. And am I dishing advice that I've taken in the past? But again, not financial advice. I'm a guy on the internet.
Here's another thing you need to consider, because he mentioned like don't default on your house or your student loans if you want to stay in this country, because that will screw you over. But all the other debts, F them. And here's the thing about that. You don't even have to leave the country. This is the second person to mention that other countries don't give a damn about credit scores. But if you just choose to like never use credit again and you just let your credit score completely tank, then what? If you plan on never using credit again, then it doesn't really matter what your credit score is. Now, the only difficulty with that is trying to get apartments, because apartments do care about your credit score, but there are other ways to get an apartment. If you say something like, look, I don't want my credit ran, but I have this much up front, or this how much I make. This is my last 2 years of pay stubs, the last 2 years of tax returns. Maybe they could do some form of like manual underwriting to see if they can approve you for the apartment. But getting an apartment is going to be difficult. That's why you say keep paying rent. That's why you at least have that rental history to show that even though you're not paying off your credit cards, at least you pay your rent. Again, not advice. I'm not telling you to do this. This is not financial advice. It's just an option that people are going to. People are just choosing to just give up on the debt. And actually there's like a credit card bubble right now because like one video earlier, somebody said that Americans are like $14 trillion in debt. Crazy freaking number. But thanks to things like Klarna, buy now, pay later, Affirm, PayPal, all these other things, people are buying things that they can't afford. So honestly, you guys really should take some form of responsibility for buying things you cannot afford. It's one thing if you finance an emergency, your car broke down and it's cheaper to fix it as to get a new car, so you have to put that on a credit card. I get that. Medical bills pop up and you don't want to die, so you pay it. I get that. But you didn't need the Chris Brown and Usher concert tickets. You didn't need to go see Cardi B live in concert. You can see her twerk on the internet for free. You didn't need to get the latest Jordans. You didn't have to do that. So I get it. So take some level of personal responsibility, but the fact that these options are even out there is a little bit predatory. I'm not gonna lie, because they present you with things that they know you can't afford and then give you a means to afford it, but really you can't afford it. It's predatory in my humble opinion.
You don't go to jail for not paying your bills, but while you're gone in Thailand, there's probably 1 million judgments filed against you from all the credit card debt you left. And when you return, those judgments are still there for 20 years, sometimes even longer. When you start working, banks are going to garnish your wages. You buy property, they're going to put liens on it, perhaps even have your assets seized. Your credit score will be wrecked. You won't be able to get credit cards, get mortgages, get a loan, may not even be able to get a job if they check your credit. Will the banks chase you to Thailand? Probably not. But the moment you come back, they'll be waiting. So if you plan on leaving a lot of credit card debt and moving to Thailand, stay there.
Why a lot of these videos mention Thailand a lot. Maybe I need to go take a trip. Actually, MTR, Mediocre Tutorial and Reviews, I don't know if you guys are subscribed to him. If not, definitely go check him out. But he's in Thailand right now, and he's talking about how amazing it is. The food, the cost of everything, the women, the housing, everything over there is so amazing. Actually, I have a buddy of mine whose sister moved to Thailand, and he said if he ever moved anywhere, it'd be to Thailand. What is so special about Thailand? I need to go visit. If you've ever been to Thailand, let me know in the comment section below what's amazing about it, and let me know where I should go. What part should I visit? Like, what part should I avoid? So maybe it's time I take a trip to Thailand and see what it's like out there.
Leaving a lot of credit card debt and moving to Thailand, stay there.
Take out as many loans as you can and use that money to start a new life in a new country.
That's what I was looking for. Somebody who's actually telling you to do it, and somebody who's actually said something that I mentioned before, like what would happen if you just take it all and left. So I want to hear what she has to say.
And then don't pay them back. I said it. Like, for real, don't pay the loans back. You don't live in that country anymore. Like, what are they really gonna do to you? Chase you across the sea? Oh my gosh, let me stop laughing. No, like, for real, are they? And your credit score, literally, where the credit does not exist in other parts of the country, like in the country that you're thinking about going to.
This is something that I never even considered. How many of you guys even like consider the fact that your credit only exists here in America? I never did. And had I known this back when I was in a bad financial situation, I probably would have been in Thailand too. And yeah, it's a very interesting thing. It's really like an isolated system that is kind of meant to keep you imprisoned here. And then they put all these social pressures on you to make you feel like you're worthless if you don't pay them back. They make you feel like you need to off yourself. They make you feel like you need to work 20 different, 30 different jobs to pay it back. And again, I'm not telling you to do it, but it's just such a new concept to me that you could just do this. You could just leave. You know, Christopher Columbus was like a scammer, right? He wasn't some nobility or anything like that, because back then, if you were like an explorer, typically you came from some kind of nobility because exploring was expensive on a ship. The crews and everything were expensive. He tricked the crown to make them believe that he was like this explorer extraordinaire, this, that, whatever. So they funded him, and that's how he found America. So yeah, he ditched his old life. So there's nothing telling you that you can't do it too. I'm not telling you to do it though. Again, I don't know what the legal ramifications are of telling people to do this. That's why I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just exploring what people out here are doing. So don't go out there and be like, oh, Iman from Emancipation told me to do it. No, Iman didn't tell you to do none of that.
It does not exist, and literally like the same. They created this system literally just to benefit them, not you. Your groceries are literally costing you your entire paycheck Housing is going up like crazy and it's not coming back down no time soon. And they still expect you to just be grateful for scraps. Like, are you grateful for the little bit that they gave you? Let's be so for real. Capitalism is not broken. It's literally working the way it was designed to. It's making sure that you are staying broke and staying poor while the rich are getting richer and
That's where I disagree. I firmly believe capitalism is broken. Capitalism wasn't always like this. The problem is human greed. It doesn't matter what system you put into play, human beings are greedy. They're always going to be greedy. That is why they had to put monetary amounts of value on things so that things can have an objective value, because if not, people would try to screw you over on trades. It's it's a sad thing, and this is why sometimes I understand why people are on like the socialist aspect of it, but it doesn't matter if you put in socialism, Marxism, communism, any other isms. The greedy are always going to find a way to exploit the system. The greedy people are always going to find a way to make things work out for them so that they're always on top and there's always a peasant class below them. Certain human beings have this need to feel like they're better than other people. I don't want to be better than anybody, except if it's like a given like competition. But I don't need to feel like the money makes me better than you. I just want enough money to live the life that I want to live, a life of freedom, fun, and adventure, which is something that I try to express to you guys. It's the lifestyle I try to get you guys to live. Live free, go out, have fun, go on hikes, like live life, not consumeristically, but enjoy life. I want you guys to level up your life, like grind hard for a good 36 months and then never have to do it again. Set yourself up to where you can work part-time or not work at all, and then go out there and live your life, downsize your life, get rid of the debt, get rid of everything that you owe. That way your life could be spent living, not spent trying to pay back money, or not spent trying to keep up with some kind of social standard that they tell you that you need to have to be a better person or make you feel good about yourself.
richer. This system was not designed for you. It was designed to keep you stuck, tired, and scared to move on, to be free. But you don't have to play by their rules forever. If you want a world where anyone can thrive, we're going to have to literally stop protecting the one that is clearly not working for us. That doesn't mean that we're reckless. That doesn't mean that that means that you're done being lied to. You're done playing fair in a game that's literally rigged against you. So build your exit plan, start your soft life, let the system crumble under its own greed, okay? Because a new world is definitely possible, but if we keep on pretending that this one keeps on working, it's never ever gonna change. So,
And I wholeheartedly agree with certain parts of that. The system is broken and the system is rigged. And I personally feel like you are crazy to play fair in a rigged system. If you are playing fair while other people are cheating, you're the dummy there. You just are. And you might consider yourself to be more noble. You're not cheating. You're going to play by the rules. You're going to do the right things, yada, 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 which, cool, sounds great in theory. But at the end of the day, those people who are cheating will go through great lengths to make sure that they always stay a step ahead of you. Whether that means tripping you up, whether that means making sure that your lane has obstacles that theirs don't have, whether it's making sure that they start with a head start. The people in front of you who are cheating the system are going to make sure that they can cheat it to the best of their abilities. The fact that there are so many loopholes when it comes to filing taxes to where you can just give your money to let me give you guys a crazy tax loophole that I found out about. Art shows and art galleries are all like scams. They're tax scams and sometimes money laundering scams, because what is the value of a piece of art? Who knows? The artist sets the price. So let's say you're a buddy of mine and you have an art gallery or something like that, or you make art, and you say that this piece of art right here is worth $36 million. What? And then let's say I acquire that piece of art from you, this $36 million piece of art, and then I go donate it to some kind of museum, or I donate it to a high school. Now I have a $36 million tax write-off. It gets a little bit more complex than that, but the system is rigged and people are cheating. So don't play fair in a system that's cheating you. And if that means leaving another country, I get why people are doing it. Again, not telling you to do it, but I get it. Do not play fair in a system that's cheating you. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Land of the free, home of the brave. Dude, you can't even rebuild your house if it burns down. That land of the free saying, now you can't even put a treehouse up in your backyard, dude. You're gonna go to jail if you cut down an oak tree that's like destroying the pipes in your backyard, man. You gotta remember, there's eras for everything, and times changed. The United States is a chick that used to be hot in high school, but now she's a torta and is looking for sugar daddies, man. Remember, sometimes you gotta stop, take a look around, and reassess everything. Just like you would in a bad relationship. If you have children, you need to do what is best for your children. You need to keep them in a safe place. You need to worry about the environment they're going to be living when they grow up. Is the city you're living in right now the safest place for your children? Is the city you're in right now going to bring the best out in them? Is the culture your children are being brought up in best for their mental health and for them to grow up to be good, well-rounded, happy people? Or is it just going to turn them into money-making machines?
Wow, he hit the nail right on the head there. Land of the free, home of the brave, that's gone. People don't feel free. And when he said that you go to jail for cutting down the oak tree in your backyard that's destroying your pipes, that's a little bit true. I don't think you'll go to jail, but you'll get fined for it because depending on where the tree is, it could be a part of the community. You might need a specific permit. You need a permit to build an ADU, an additional dwelling unit in your backyard. The land that you pay money for, that you own, if you want to build a back house, you have to ask for permission because of zoning rules. It's my house. Now, I get it. People don't want big old, apartment complexes popping up in people's backyards. I can understand that because it kind of makes the community look a little junky. But why can't I build a one-story back house? Why can't I do that? The fact that I can't do that just shows me that there's too many rules in place. And we, the people, follow the rules so that the people at the top can continue breaking them. That's why rules are, I'm not saying rules are meant to be broken by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. However, rules do not apply to everybody, and it's becoming evident to everybody. And that's why people are doing things like this. People are fed up. People are getting fed up. And what I talk about on this channel when it comes to like the revolution, that's why I call you guys the revolutionaries, and this is the Revolutionary Army, because the way we are revolting is by withdrawing. Now, when I say withdrawing, I never meant withdrawing from the country. I just meant withdrawing from the system. We will no longer use credit. We will no longer buy these houses. We'll put our money into the stock market and put it into high yield savings account. Hell, if you want to keep it cash, keep it cash. I don't necessarily recommend that. But if you don't want to put your money in the bank so that they can go out and loan the money out, make 24% interest, and then turn around and give you 2% interest or 0.2% interest while inflation is at 10% every single year, I understand why you wouldn't want to put your money in the banks. There used to be a thing where Asian communities didn't put their money in the banks because they didn't trust it. They keep all their money in cash. So I get it. People are fed up. That's why this is a revolution. Like I said, my name is Iman. This is Emancipation. I want to emancipate you guys from mental slavery. And if you guys want to free yourself from this system, let me know. Comment freedom down below. We can have a chat in the conversation. I don't sell nothing, but let's talk. I want to see what you guys are doing, and I want to hear you guys' story. I'd love to have some of you guys come onto the show as guests, and I want to hear your story about how you're either achieving freedom, on the path to freedom, or if you're confused about where to go, where to start, let me know. I'll bring you onto the show. We'll record it. I don't charge nothing. I actually love to have guests. That's the path I want to take this channel in, is to have a live guest. So thank you guys all for tuning in. My name is Iman. This is Emancipation. So be easy.